Welcome to the Soul Star Podcast with your spiritual besties, Alli and Mandy. We're here to make your spiritual journey fun, relatable, and inspiring. So let's raise your vibe and ignite your soul together.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for another week of the Soul Star Podcast. I am Mandy and we have Alli here with us.
Hi!
We are just very grateful that you're here and sorry because we know we're releasing this episode a bit late. But life is lifing and we are doing our best. So thank you for your grace.
We're just doing it, okay?
Surviving.
We're surviving. Okay, I got a story.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, I just remember because I was like, I wrote it in my phone.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Okay, here's a story, guys. This is like how, like the weird things that happen in our day. So what was it?
Oh no.
Oh yeah, no. I remember. I was like, oh yeah, my purse. Okay, so I was packing up my overnight bag to go stay over at my partner's, and I was getting my last thing, and it was my purse, and I was like, "What the hell's my purse?" And I went to every spot, which is not a lot of spots that I ever leave it, and I could not find it. I was like, "What the hell?" And so then I like walked in the kitchen, walked around, like everything, and I'm in a condo. It's not that big of a space. Come on. And so I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I literally have lost this thing. And so then I was like, I guess I'll go in the bedroom and look. And then I was like, maybe I should go into the bathroom. But my logical brain was going, why the fuck would your purse be in the bathroom? But the thought was like there. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just go in and check. And so I go into the bathroom and there's no purse, but my like overnight like pills and like what's that called?
Your medicine bag?
I guess so. My medicine, my drug bag. My drug bag. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, oh my God, I would have lost this, or not lost this, but forgot this, and I would have been pissed. And so I was like, oh, thank God I came back in here. And then I instantly heard, now you will find your purse. And I was like, get out. And so I walk out and my purse is right beside my overnight bag.
What?
Yeah. I was just like, I literally walked into the kitchen, like it was right beside my overnight bag. And so
That's
I was
hilarious.
Isn't that funny? And
they put like a cloak. Invisibility cloak on your shirt.
Yeah, right? Like literally like just blocked it from my view. And it's kind of an interesting concept because we talk about how in this moment, like depending on the frequency, like we are seeing where we are, but there's different realms right on top of, if you were to change frequencies or drop the veil of a certain realm, you would see something completely different, which is, it's kind of like a layered, like blankets layering on top of each other. And so it's kind of the same concept that it was just like, okay, we're just going to literally block this from her perception. And then it forced me into the bathroom to find my bag. So I was like, thank you so much. And then, when I'm walking out now you will find your purse. And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
That's so funny. I love that story. I love that you talked about the realms though, because it's not something we've really talked about. But maybe we can do an episode on this, but
we should.
I always think of like the folk, like the fairies and the folklore, or not the folklore, but anyways, the fairy realm. Yeah. Yep. When, because that's exactly it. And that it's just a veil between us and the fairies and everything within nature. Yeah. And it's a thin veil and it's getting thinner. And that's that perspective. So if you were out on a hike or whatever, and you actually tuned in to the forest around you, you will sense it, you will feel it, you'll hear it. And I don't remember if I told this story, but I know I told you this story because Nick and and I were hiking. I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I'll
I
just
don't
remind
know.
people, it's
Yeah.
like as an example. But we were hiking Matheson Lake, which is just like a lake close to where we live, and it's a beautiful forest.
Mm.
Nick and I, and the whole time we were hiking it, it was like talking to me, and I was picking up on it, but obviously Nick wasn't. And there were certain points throughout the hike. So, for example, a bee, every time I walk, not every time, but a lot of times when I walk in that forest, when I start my hike, a bee will start circling me like a
So maybe I shouldn't swat them away and run.
no. And I almost feel like it's checking me out, like who is this welcoming me
Mm.
into their space kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it circles me for a little while, and then near the end of my hike, it comes back and it circles me again. Like it just kind of like flies around me, and I'm like, what is? Because I
What
can
is
hear.
happening? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So that's how it usually starts. And then on the way out, it was like, oh, it was in the summertime. So there was no breeze, no wind. And I look over and there's this fern that is like literally waving at us.
Oh my
And
God. I think that's so cool.
I
Like
know.
it's
And look,
so
I said,
cool.
Nick, look at that fern. It's waving at you. And he
And was
looks,
he like, okay,
he's like,
Mandy?
oh my God.
You're like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I've definitely tried the whole going up to a tree and asking it to touch and and again, like my logical brain versus my, you know, intuition type can get stuck. But I'm like, man, like I fully believe that like they're sentient beings, right? They
Yeah.
have a soul. It's
It's
all
a
of these,
consciousness.
it's consciousness and it's
Yeah.
so freaking cool.
Yeah.
We should do one on even the fairies because you and I have visited that realm when for a client, and I remember, yeah, it was a really cool story. I was just like,
Yeah.
what? It's okay, yeah, we'll do that, but we're not doing that today. Today, let's talk about healing. What the fuck? Get out of
Weird.
here! What? I know. Actually, I feel like every episode since we've gotten back has been some sort of
Heaviness.
yeah, well, heaviness and self-help type of thing. And I'm like, why? Because we're just guided by what spirit brings to us and what to do. But I guess it's because a lot of people are in that space right now.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that that's kind of
Well, if we're
what's
going through it, and we know the whole, like the collective is going through a big purge right now, there's a
mm-hmm,
huge awakening happening at the
mm-hmm,
moment. And
mm-hmm,
that happens, as we know, awakenings happen through a lot of times through difficult times, whether you're
mm-hmm.
just having a difficult time with your mental health and the story that you're looping in your mind is, keeping you in this space, or you're going through a difficult time because something's shifted dramatically or traumatically in your life. And so there's just lots of things happening right now. And it
Yeah,
doesn't help with all the layers of heaviness in the collective at the moment. It just makes it harder.
it's so much harder. So, a subject kind of came up, and it's like this idea or this aspect of like when you're healing, whether you're on a spiritual, journey or not. But, a lot of us do seek to better ourselves and to heal and to move forward. And part of that is one thing I've recognized because I've done a lot of, reflection and healing. So have you. Something that's kind of like popped up, and I was talking about it in therapy, was like these different versions of myself that will kind of pop up when I'm triggered. So, one thing I'm moving through now is like being in a new relationship, or being in a relationship, and having triggers show up. So they weren't showing up in my marriage because it had been such a long period of time, and maybe that person didn't trigger those things, but they are showing up in my relationship now. And what I've kind of witnessed is like I get these two versions of myself. It will be like something will trigger me and I'll instantly be like, oh God, I don't like that, and then I feel sick to my stomach, and then I start worrying. Now this is the old unhealed part of me that's showing up.
Hmm.
And then it's like I kind of like stop, and it's like my healed version comes forward and is like, dude, what's the problem? Like, and the healed version can justify, can, bring that higher perspective, can be like, hun, like it's, let's just say, oh, they haven't reached out to you or something like that. like, oh, like they're busy or they're with their kids. Like there's this healed version that's kind of like, dude, calm down. But it doesn't take away how loud the unhealed version is at times. And it's like
Mhm.
loud in the sense it sits in my body as anxiety. It's loud in the sense that it's like as it's kind of this battle between, and more frequently than not, the unhealed version seems to win or take
Mhm.
over a lot easier. And it's something that I've just, witnessed. I love kind of witnessing myself. I was like, I'm like an experiment on myself where I'm like, interesting. I'm like, I feel like I got how many versions? I've got like this battle and then this like my higher versions watching the two of them work it out. But
You become the observer.
the observer of it's
Yeah.
very fascinating actually. And it doesn't mean it takes away my uneasiness or my anxiety. It doesn't mean my mind doesn't race away and it get away from me, and I'm not like, reactive to my partner, and not it's not like I'm able to stifle it. Um but it's like, but then I start to kind of feel like I start to my healed version starts to kind of mother my unhealed version, in
Mm.
a sense where sometimes you just have to um let that uncomfortable feeling and like ride it out type of thing.
Hmm.
So there'll be times that I'll be kind of like, good, that feeling, that like sick feeling. Like every time you're like,
Yeah.
oh, what am I feeling sick? Oh yeah, that's what I'm feeling sick about. And then you're just like, and that night it's always worse.
Yeah.
And so there's times that my healed version will be like, it's okay. It's okay. This is just the unhealed version of yourself. This is just the triggers from, your childhood, your whatever, the part that just has not caught up to where you're at yet. And it's okay. Like you can I can feel both of them. And then I'll just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like in my mind, my unhealed version goes into a fetal position. And then my healed version is just like, okay, just stay there. Just hang out there. It's fine. Like you got
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Well, my question for you is like, what are you doing to heal that unhealed version that shows up so loudly?
Mm-hmm. It's tough. I'm in it, right? I'm in it. I feel like when I think the observing is an important part of it.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'll even write it down, like from the observer's perspective, where I'll
Mm.
be like, oh, this is interesting, and like I do it in my phone, but just like a journal. um
Hmm.
and I'll be like, huh, this happened and I reacted this way. And I just kind of like to start to see like why, like this is very curious to me, why I'm reacting this way. And then, most times it's not in the moment, it's when I've gotten like I'm through that uncomfortable stage that then I will reflect on it and try to understand it. I do feel like it's crazy. It's so crazy. You become so sensitive to energy. It's like you start to like see, I don't know. It's like a technical thing. It's so weird because it's like I do feel like when this trigger happens, when this unhealed version shows up, it's kind of like a switch. And I just like it's like I instantly go into this like cloud of this
Hmm.
energy. And and at times I can be like, Allison, you're doing it again. You're doing it again. You're in that space. Get yourself out. And sometimes I can, and sometimes I have to like let it ride out and let like the cloud dissipate before I can kind of like snap out of it type of thing. It's
Yeah.
very odd. I sound like I'm crazy, but
No, I get it.
it's yeah, but it's like I think it's because so attuned to energy. It's like you start to see the macro, like the micros, that
Yeah,
like all
I
the
get it.
little
It's
parts
like
of it.
the quantum field of it.
Yeah, it's
You
so
can feel.
weird.
So then when you're recognizing that you're about to enter the quantum field of unhealed version of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
um, how can you stay out of it? Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Because it's almost like astro traveling in a sense where you, or lucid dreaming is what I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
where you have full control of your consciousness in your dream and you can like say, oh, this is a dream. I want this to happen, or I don't want to dream about this anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of the same idea. Like you have full control over your quantum field. So maybe I wonder if you allow that yourself to step into that quantum field part
Mm-hmm.
because it's familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like,
Mhm.
absolutely. It definitely is familiar, right?
Yeah, well, because you've
Because,
been feeling that it's been since childhood, right? Like that's how
yeah.
it's rooted so deep within your DNA,
Mm-hmm.
within your quantum field that you don't exist in it the majority of the time
Mm-mm.
anymore because you
Mm-mm.
probably did at some point. So
Mm-hmm.
when it gets close to you or when it that it's almost like calibrating to a certain
I know.
frequency, right? So that's how I'm envisioning it. So
Mm-hmm.
when your frequency is calibrating to that unhealed version of yourself, I almost feel like it's a familiar for you. So you almost allow it.
And it's like you
Yeah, and
fall
it's
like with your
yeah, that
hand.
switch. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, like turning that switch on,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, it's like switched on now that frequency, that calibration to that unhealed version of yourself. So I wonder if there's a way where you can, I don't want to say avoid switching into that calibration or
I
that frequency
know.
because that's clearly there to show you something, but
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's a way where you can recognize it and then switch out of it or
Faster.
faster.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because there's times that I'm in it and I can clear like I'm very like you said lucid dreaming. I'm very aware I'm in it.
Yeah.
And I will try and I'll be like come on like let's snap out of it. Come on. Can you just let's snap out of it. And I can't. And I
Hmm.
can't.
You haven't figured out how yet.
I haven't figured out how yet, not every time. Um Again, that can be like a little frustrating, but at the same time very interesting to me, very curious to me in that aspect. Um I think I know what parts that it's triggering. So like I'm
Mhm.
aware of when I'm going it's I know it's part of feeling like I guess it's like feeling what is it? Like I guess it's my self-worth in that sense,
Mhm.
right? So if
Well,
I
you said
yeah,
it makes you feel sick to your stomach, which is your solar
my
plexus. So
solar plexus,
it's
yep. And
affecting your self-worth or your confidence or whatever your insecurities.
my insecurities, yeah. So that definitely that worthiness, that like
Hmm.
feeling worthy of love, feeling worthy and if something like triggers and then all of a sudden it's like it goes back to that default of like see I'm not.
Hmm.
And in a way, it's like and that's something I'm noticed or understanding is your psyche. Well, there's like a deep belief system that you have. Your psyche will search for it,
Hmm.
right? Will search for to be like, see, like it's constantly looking to confirm it.
Hmm.
And which is fascinating and fucked up all at the same time. I'm like, what the fuck is your psyche doing? Like, shut up, dude. I'm over here trying to be like, no, you are worthy. And this other part's just like, I'm looking. And then one little sign, you're like, see, I told you I'm not worthy. Like, what the fuck? Come on, man. So I would say like that is a deep rooted one. So I clearly see what the root cause is. And the other one is I've a pattern is like trusting. So like trusting partners.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, jealousy, I guess jealousy. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's jealousy or it's just there's this like deep rooted um limiting belief system in me, don't know where it came from, of like being cheated on or I don't know if it's cheated on, not even just cheated on, but like even just being like having the
Not the
rug pulled out and
yeah.
yeah. And am witnessing this is turning into like very personal. So I don't care though, because other people, I don't give a
This
shit.
will help other people.
Yeah, I'm like, it will help other people. I'm witnessing that one thing that I think I've adapted from childhood is to kind of put up those bumper pads for situations. So like it's like I go ahead and make it foolproof so that I can't get hurt. So it's like kind of going ahead. So if that means going ahead and being like, okay, well, like I don't want my partner to like, okay, don't go here and don't like you put all these safeguards in so that they have no chance
Yeah.
to like hurt you, whether that's like obviously cheating, whether that's like you know, asking them to plan something and then and being like, I want you to do and want to see if you can step up, whatever. And then, but then constantly giving reminders. So you're not even allowing them a chance to fail and
Hmm.
show them your true colors, right?
Wait, wait,
Um,
wait, wait, wait. You're just
oh,
like, you're not even allowing them the chance to fail
ah,
is
shit.
when you could have said, you're not even
Oh
allowing them
no.
the chance to succeed. Do you know what I mean? You
God.
went straight to fail. So
Like
you're already programmed to,
programmed that
yeah,
I'm going to be
that's a
disappointed.
perfect
That's
example.
a perfect example. Already so programmed that I'm going to be disappointed. And whether that's from past experiences of being disappointed over and over, it's like this default that comes
Mhm.
in. And then it's like, okay, well, I better go ahead to put in these, safe rails, yeah,
Safety rails.
guide rails. Yeah. So that it doesn't happen, right? Where in reality, like what's her name? Something Robbins, where it says let them.
Mel Robbins, let
Mel
them.
Robbins, let them, which I didn't even know there was a book about that, but there is, so I'm gonna get it. But it was like let them because and I do, and I my healed version can feel that and absolutely be like, let them. I'd rather
Hmm.
somebody show me their true colors than not, where then like release your grasp of trying to control so that they can't
Hmm.
hurt you. And it's like let them, and if they're going to, then they're going to, and like thank you so much for showing me who you are, I'm going to move on, versus trying to control the outcome and the narrative so that you don't have to, and then finding out like way down the line, whatever, right?
Yeah, it's
And that,
true.
right, it makes
Like,
sense to
let's not
me.
waste my time here.
Yeah, like
Show me
show
who you
me.
are.
Yeah, can you step up? Can you
Yeah.
not? Can you be trustworthy? Can you know what I mean? Like all of
Yeah.
that. And but that's my heel version fucking sees that and believes it and everything. But then this little sneaky unhealed version's like, oh my god, but I don't want to hurt. And I'm like, and then I sit there and I'm like, okay, honey, you get hurt. What's okay?
Yeah.
You hurt, you heal, you move on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, very interesting, huh?
Interesting. I want to say, like, I feel like the majority of us, okay, there's a few things I want to say here. I feel like the majority of us who have been doing like a lot of or healing work and we have that ability like you where we can kind of be the observer and see the difference here between our unhealed version and our healed version, like the higher perspective part of it.
Yeah.
So and we all experience times where, we're going through our day more so in our higher version self than
Mm-hmm.
in our unhealed version self. But some days our unhealed version or our old self shows up the majority of the time or is making the decisions or taking the lead, and that can be frustrating, but I
Yeah.
feel like I want to say that this is where we're headed. So when
Mm-hmm.
people talk about new earth and 5D frequency, this is where we live the majority of our time in our
Mm-hmm.
healed version of ourself because we're closer to our higher self, like our higher self frequency is integrated more into our human self.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's where we're existing and spending most of the time in most of our days. So when you hear people talk about 5D frequency, that's what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Or New Earth, that's when the majority of your time is spent in 5D. And I don't know, like, over time in our lifetime, if we'll be able to exist 100% of our time in that healed version or that higher frequency version, or if we'll always be doing some healing work or whatever. Maybe it's going to
Yeah.
be different for everybody. I don't know. I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
But I see what you're saying. And I also want to share, because we were talking a lot about um, showing up in like you can see the difference between
Mm.
the higher perspective version and then the unhealed version and how that happens. But also like when you're really intentionally trying to live in that higher frequency and you're being in that higher version of yourself. And again, higher, lower, there's no, it's just a frequency shift. It's not better or worse. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's just yeah, and it's exactly that. Like when you're in, it's like 3D, 4D, like it's a
Mhm.
vibration that if the vibration's higher, it's more unity and all that, and if it's lower, it's just a bit denser, right?
Yeah,
Mhm,
exactly.
mhm,
And so when you're intentionally living in that higher frequency, or it's just that's where you're at or whatever, sometimes you do get pulled back into that lower frequency. And this can also show up by falling back into old habits or old patterns, or like you said, old mind shifts, or limiting beliefs. And
mhm,
our ego gets really loud. So
mhm.
for me, for example, I used to be like a big social drinker, and Nick and I would go out on the weekends and, before kids, and then drinking's always been a big part of our lives. And over the
Mhm.
last few years, it's not something I do much anymore. Like I'll have a social glass of wine here and there.
Yeah.
Um, but there's a part of me where I used to drink, especially because my job was so stressful. I used to drink like a couple glasses of wine on a Friday night and, feel really
Mhm.
nice and buzzy, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's something, a habit that I've shifted and I've changed over, the last few years. And it's not something I do very often. But
Yeah.
sometimes I just get this urge to be in that space, and
Yeah.
I will fall back into old patterns and old habits, and do things that are unhealthy for me. And this can show up as drinking for
Mm.
some people, or binge eating, or
Mhm.
gossiping, or drugs, or whatever
Whatever.
unhealthy habit you've been trying to shift, or
Mhm.
whatever mindsets, limiting beliefs, like I said. And you just kind of like get back into that space. But I think it's a testament to the work that you do as to how long you stay in that space versus how long you can shift out of it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not like a failure
No,
when you go into that
a
space,
reminder.
it's a reminder. It's just a and I think like a lot of us can get frustrated because I've definitely heard, students or clients or friends that will say like, "Oh my God, I've worked so hard on this. Like I thought I healed this." And it's
Mm,
one of those things like, yeah, yeah, it is frustrating. There's definitely times where I'm like, seriously, you're showing up again.
mhm,
But then it's just a recognition that there's still a layer there. There's still a little bit of a trigger there, and that's okay. And it just means like you're not. It's you just got to heal a little bit more, or it's like, and think also it's like the trigger. Like maybe you're not triggered this particular way that you healed, but then something comes out from a different angle and kind of triggers that sore spot again, but it didn't come from the original one that you had healed. And then it's like, oh, okay, when this situation happens, okay, it's still tender, it's still a hard one, so I need to now refocus and start working on that part.
mhm.
It's yeah, like it's so it's like it's frustrating, but it's so fascinating, like I'm like, I realize, and I think this is okay. I'm all over the place. Why don't we finish a sentence, Allison? I'm like, because my brain's like, boop, 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 boop,
My
boop, boop.
mind was too. I was like, oh, so many things.
Where are we going? What's happening? What's happening? Um, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh my God, that's
Now it's gone forever.
ADHD at its best. Um, no, I'm like, I've realized, like, witnessing in myself that when some of these triggers are hit, and obviously in different situations, but like, so let's just say my worthiness, my self-worth gets hit in my relationship, my automatic reaction is and
Mm,
all of a sudden the wall goes straight up, I back the fuck off and I'll create distance, right?
mm,
Like, and I it's very interesting to be like, oh shit, like I'm again observing this in
yeah,
myself. It's an
yeah.
automatic reaction. It's something that keeps me safe. And I think when you say talk about going back into old versions or old habits, it's like that has kept me safe in the past. So
Mhm.
I'm going to go there, right? Because I
Yeah.
know this is going to keep me safe right now, where not going into that automatic reaction and maybe staying out of it and being more vulnerable and staying in that energy is going to feel a lot more vulnerable, a lot more scary. It's like going into a haunted house and not knowing what's going to jump
Yeah.
out at you, and not knowing if you can navigate it, and all of those things. But it's taking that like leap of faith to be like, you know what, I'm going to choose not to go, and I'm going to stay in my like giving, my open and stuff, and let's just see what happens. I have not gotten there yet. So don't think that I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I am so evolved, I am so healed. No, I can observe it, I can see what I should be trying. Haven't done it yet.
That's okay. This is the work we do, right? First recognizing,
Mm-hmm.
giving yourself grace,
Mm-hmm.
permission, love,
Mm-hmm.
and then trying out because that will be uncomfortable
It will be
because
uncomfortable,
it'll be
right?
new, it'll be different.
Yeah, you're just gonna be, yeah, you're gonna be raw, you're gonna be
Mhm.
out there, and like you say, there's some days that I'm like, I'm good, right? I'm like, oh yeah, things that would maybe trigger me are like, nah, oh God, I'm like, look at me, so good. I'm not, it's not triggering me anymore. And then it'll be another day, and it will just be like one, and then I'm like, oh, and I fall into my misery and my thing.
It sounds lovely. Fall
I'm
into my
I'm
pool of misery and I
I'm
just float around
psycho.
with a backstroke.
And I'm like, this is hard. This is so hard.
I don't want to do it
I
anymore.
don't want to do it. Why can't I just live in my unhealed version?
Because that's just as hard.
Yes, but it's familiar,
It's true.
right? It's familiar, but now, like, that's the thing with awakening is once you once that veils drop, once you see things, once like it just you have your perspective gets so much bigger,
Hmm.
and it's like you can't not see, feel all of those things. So even if you're like, it's just like I don't want to face that. It's so loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Crazy.
yeah. So that's kind of just what we wanted to touch on. I guess like I'm in my head, I'm like, did we give tips on how to like move through it? I think it's more just like
Well, I asked
having
you how
patience.
you, yeah, I asked you how you're dealing with that. So your journal.
Mm-hmm.
But also like I really wanted you to say that because you talked about how sometimes you feel like you mother that unhealed
Yes.
version of yourself. I would love for you to go into meditation and
I know.
and have your like and then just like love that young girl who's curled up in the fetal position
Oh
struggling with
yeah.
this self-worth issue with with the situation. I would love for you to go into meditation and just fill yourself your with love and
Yeah, that's
compassion
true.
and grace.
Yeah, why do I avoid that shit so much?
I
It's
know.
more just like I'm lazy.
Stop it.
I think it's that. It's more just like I'm like, I don't want to go and
I'm
do all the
pretty sure we
things.
have a guided meditation created just for that.
Yeah, there is. I did.
So
Yeah.
just listen to that.
Embarrassing. I know. But like we did discover through my reflection, it's kind of like a meditation in a way, right? Because obviously
Mhm.
in my head, I'm going, oh,
Yeah.
I see you. I'm like, and then I'm so in a way, I'm kind of meditating because I'm like,
Yeah.
I see her. I'm, but I could go into a deeper state of
You don't
meditation.
even have to go into a deeper state. Like just see yourself loving on that young girl because you see them both,
Mm-hmm.
and then just let your heart open to feel the love and that compassion
Yeah. And just
for
to
where
be
you're
like,
at in that moment.
you're
Because
safe,
yeah,
right? Like
nothing
that's the thing.
wrong.
It's like you're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's an interesting journey, this
Hmm.
healing part of it. And it's not for the faint of heart, and it takes courage. And I really, for anybody like taking that challenge on and being like, screw this, I want to better myself, I want to do better, like I applaud you because it's not easy.
Mm-mm.
And I my sister went to her first somatic healing, counseling, whatever it was. And this has been a long time that, like kind of being like, should you? But it's a scary thing to approach.
Yeah.
And it knocked her off her feet, like, and it was like, oh God, like it was so much. And then I was like, okay, I wonder, like, this is either going to make her snap and be like, oh, I can't do this, type of thing.
Mhm.
But the next day it was like, yeah, I'm gonna go 3 weeks in a row because I know I just need to like hit it. And I was like, good for you. Like,
Yeah.
it is scary when we have to
Hmm.
like face some of these things, but the reward is like you're not going to be in that space forever. And like, can you imagine releasing that
Hmm.
and how much clearer and lighter you're going to feel? So, kudos to anybody that is, yeah, taking that plunge and having the courage to do it.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
awesome. I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, um, yay! Fun. I can't wait till we talk about fairies and other realms. Maybe we'll do that next week. Like that
Yeah,
would be
let's
so
let's
fucking
come back
fun.
with a bit of a lighter episode. We'll do fairy.
Yeah. Woo! Let's get into the crazy metaphysical stuff. All right. Thanks again for listening, everybody. We are just so happy that you show up every week, and hope that what we're saying is resonates and is helpful for you in your journey. Bye.
Bye.